Think back to some of your favorite memories of the last year. A summer road trip, moving back on campus, watching the game. I bet these memories all had one thing in common: friends. Friends are so important in our everyday lives, and here's an even better news. Friendship is also a spiritual practice. First, good friendships form us into the kinds of people who also have more room for God. In Wasting Time with God, Klaus Isler says we must develop closer friendships with other believers in order to make room in our lives for God. Greater intimacy experienced with others increases our capacity to become more intimate with God. Second, being a friend makes us more like Jesus. Throughout the Gospels, Jesus befriends the unlikeliest of people, the sinners and tax collectors. And in John 15, Jesus says to the disciples, "I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends." When we practice being a good friend to one another, we're following Jesus' example of befriending the people God has already befriended. Lastly, with good friends, we can practice something called spiritual friendship. Spiritual friendship is a kind of fancy term for something Christians have been doing for centuries, intentionally doing life together in order to strengthen each other's walk with God. You can practice spiritual friendship in a lot of ways, but it starts with finding a friend who also wants to grow deeper. Once you do, find space to spend time together every week or two and get honest about your walk with God. Here's a simple structure for how this conversation could go. Ask each other, what in you needs to be celebrated, what in you needs to be forgiven, and what in you needs to be healed. As you listen, pay attention for anything you notice God is doing in your friend's life, and don't be afraid to challenge, encourage, and celebrate them. As always, there's more tips on our habits page for how to lean into the practice of friendship. Peace.